and human growth, inner growth, and human warmth found in works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo. Xuemo is the one who is on the background in the poster, yes, and he is a contemporary Chinese writer. So here we are introducing the internationally acclaimed writer and thinker Xuemo. If you are on a journey of self-discovery, mindfulness, or personal growth, his books are absolute must-read. Stay with us to learn how his wisdom can change your perspective. Xuemo was born in 1963 as Chen Kaihong. Is a renowned writer from Western China. He has written more than 7 titles with over 200 editions, translated into more than 20 languages, including English, French, German, Korean, Russian, and Spanish. Xuemo is one of China's most influential contemporary writers. His audiobook, Buddha's Wisdom, Xuemo interprets the Diamond Sutra on the Himalaya platform, has been played over 35 million times and remains a top-ranking program. His series What's on Lao's Mind, Xuemo interprets Dao De Jing, has sold nearly 1 million copies in China. Since 2019, his works have been featured in independent booths at major international book fairs and film festivals in Germany, London, the United States, and across Asia. In 2022, he topped the international media spotlight list at the Frankfurt Book Fair, drawing more attention than the guest of honor, Spain. This achievement was hailed as one of the most remarkable and memorable events of the Frankfurt Book Fair 2022. Notably, more than 10 of his works have been translated by Howard Goldblatt and Sylvie Chunlin, the distinguished translators of Nobel Prize-winning literature. Research centers devoted to his work have been established at Ningbo University and Central South University. Hi, hello, our old friend here. Welcome. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming by. So, how are you these days? And Xuemo's novel Into the Desert won the 2022 Excellent Translation Award by the China International Communications Group CICG, the 2024 NYC Big Book Award for Women's Fiction, and the 2024 Independent Press Award for Literary Fiction. His novel Curses of the Kingdom of Xixia won the 2024 NYC Big Book Award for World Literature. The novel Wild Fox Ridge won the 2024 International Impact Book Award and the 2025 NYC Big Book Award, and was honored with the 2025 International Book Award, and was honored with the International Book Award. He has been nominated 3 times for the Maodun Literature Prize and has won the Dunhuang Literature and Art Award 6 consecutive times. The ebook editions, Desert Rides, Desert Hunters, White Tiger Pass, and Love Letters from the Goddess have repeatedly ranked #1 on Amazon's bestseller list. Okay, hello. So there is one question in the chat section. So the question is, what is the book Eternal Love about? Okay, let me share with you. So Eternal Love is a journey of healing and redemption. Let me show you the book. Wow, it's so dangerous. Okay, Eternal Love. Eternal Love is translated by Howard Goldblatt and Sylvie Chunlin, renowned translators of Nobel Prize-winning literary works. This novel unfolds as an eternal dance between light and darkness, life and death, despair and love. And Eternal Love is a deeply moving epistolary novel told through 34 letters and diary entries exchanged between a young woman named Yato, diagnosed with terminal tongue cancer, and the author Xuemo. In her final month, she writes not seeking pity but understanding, meaning, and peace. Through their correspondence, they explore life's most profound questions. What is the meaning of existence? How do we face death without fear? And can love truly transcend the body? So, for anyone who has faced serious illness or witnessed a loved one suffering, this book speaks directly to the soul. Xuemo's letters offer not medical advice, but spiritual medicine, guiding Yato not to fight death, but to find freedom within it. He shares stories, moments of silence, and a world of poetry and light as her physical world fades. Readers often describe Eternal Love as a companion in grief, a book that teaches how to love without attachment and see beauty even in pain. It reminds us that while the body may perish, love never falls, and the spirit remains eternal. At its heart, this is a story of redemption through compassion. How love can transcend suffering, how the soul may awaken in its final moments, and how every ending can also become a beginning. So, and this book is rich with insight, such as about the true joy. So, true joy comes from a heart that perceives beauty with little connection to material wealth. We cannot hold happiness forever, but we can choose it in every moment. Okay, another sentence. All suffering arises from the mind. So does greed. Whether we chase or release, persist or surrender, all is a choice of the heart. When the heart is upright, life becomes simple. And why journey far and wide, if not to find a home for the soul? Why not cherish each moment and taste all that life offers? Sunshine or storm, each has its flavor. What truly wounds us is never the event itself, but the gap between expectation and reality. We suffer not from what happens, but from the stories and fears we create in our minds. Eternal Love teaches that every experience, joy or sorrow, is part of the journey toward inner peace. If you seek calm, healing, or the courage to love again, this book will speak to your heart. And it shows that the true core for fear and despair lies not in medicine, but in connection, empathy, and in awakening. That is why many readers call it a letter from the soul to the soul. For anyone walking through illness, loss, or emotional pain, this book offers light, calm, and courage. It is a novel for those in search of healing, spiritual peace, and a gentle reminder that love never dies. It only transforms. So I hope the instruction for the book has so thank you. Actually, the paperwork is prepared by our team, and yes, I just express it. Okay, so if you are you going to order this book? Have you read any of Xuemo's works already? So, okay, you search about his work. And what kind of work do you prefer? So, do you want to start with novel or spiritual essays? So, let me know. What? Do you want to start with novels? Do you prefer novels or spiritual essays? Okay, let's go spiritual. Okay. The spiritual from spiritual. Okay, I will first recommend the Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. Which one do you want to know first? Let me know because it's your lucky time. No one's here. So you want to know more, no, introduce the of the throne of your heart first, or the world is a reflection of the, it's a reflection of the mind. These two are spiritual yoga series. So the world is a reflection of the mind, and reclaim the throne of your heart. Which one do you want to go first? Lucky time. Okay, you will go the white one first. So, about the world is a reflection of your mind. The world is a reflection of the mind. The world is a reflection of the mind by Xuemo. So in this noisy, chaotic world, we scroll endlessly, chase endlessly, think endlessly, and yet our hearts grow heavier. We try to fix the world outside but forget to look within. And this book, The World is a Reflection of the Mind, is not just a book, it's a mirror. It tells us the world you see is the echo of your inner world. When your mind is restless, everything seems broken. When your heart is calm, every chaos, even chaos, becomes harmony. Through gentle words, and through gentle words and timeless Eastern wisdom, Xuemo guides us back to the quiet center of our being. And he reminds us that peace is not something we find in the world. Peace is what we bring to the world when we understand our own mind. So for the ones who feel lost, anxious, or disconnected, this book feels like a light in the fog, a quiet companion whispering, You are not alone. Your world changes when your heart awakens. So if your heart longs for clarity, for stillness, for meaning, let this book be your mirror. Let it help you rediscover who you truly are. And the world you see is nothing more than a mirror of your heart. A joyful person sees joy, a sorrowful person sees sorrow, an angry person sees injustice. This simple idea forms the core of the book. Our consciousness shapes our reality. And Xuemo writes, if the heart is like still water, the world will reflect it clearly. But if the heart is muddy, the world becomes a distorted illusion. Most of us spend our whole lives trying to change the world around us, yet few think of changing the world within. But once the heart changes, everything changes. So, and he shares more story. Two people look at the same half glass of water. One side is half empty. The other smiles. It's half full. The same glass, yet two completely different worlds. Happiness doesn't come from what we have, but from how we see what we have. And another line, your troubles are not your enemies, they are your teachers. Each worry hides an opportunity to grow. When you see obstacles as stepping stones, they lift you higher. And perhaps the most liberating truth of all, the past is gone, the future has not arrived, only the present is real. So to live is to be fully here, to eat when eating, walk when walking, work when working. So that's the true mindfulness, and that is the beauty of the present moment. Reading the world is a reflection of your mind, feels like entering a quiet retreat within yourself. It's a journey of self-discovery and healing, an invitation to pause amid the noise of the world, to look inward and to rediscover the beauty and meaning of life. When we let go of attachment and prejudice and begin to see the world with new eyes, we realize that beauty has always been there. We just forgot how to see it. So if we are searching for peace, purpose, or clarity, this book will gently guide you inward, helping you find the still, luminous space within your own heart. And in today's world, people are overwhelmed by pressure, loneliness, and pain. But after reading the world is a reflection of your mind, many readers say they finally found strength. They found light. They found their way out of the darkest chapter of their lives. That's the power of this book. It doesn't just teach, it heals. Its words awaken something silent and sacred within us. So if you are ever felt lost, restless, or uncertain, perhaps this is the book you've been waiting for. Because when the heart becomes clear, the path ahead opens, and then you will realize the world was never against you. It was always the reflection of your mind. You can find this book on Amazon, or you can get a signed copy from our official site, shop.xuemo.com. So the way you think is the way you live. See the world and others as mirrors of yourself, to know yourself and to grow yourself. It is also a teaching for me, myself. So to see the world and others as mirrors of yourself, and to know yourself and to grow yourself. And this book offers practical methods for modern souls tormented by anxiety, helping readers experience genuine and transformative changes in everyday life. And it is a book of wisdom that unveils the truth of the world and mind. It has already helped tens of thousands of people emerge from the low points of life, restoring inner peace and joy. Seeing the world clearly allows you to become an advanced player in the game of life. Seeing your mind clearly allows you to become the master of your own heart. So is there any saying of, see the life as a game, but to involve in it 100%, and like without attachment. Just enjoy the life as a game. And the English and Spanish tradition, have been widely acclaimed overseas. So this is the Spanish edition, this is the English edition, and this book has been already translated into around 10 languages, just this book. And Xuemo has written 80 titles. Hi, I see some new friends here. What do you mean by go with the pink one? Hello, welcome. If you're new here, please subscribe to our channel. So this is the book, The World is a Reflection of the Mind. And I will introduce the next book, also the spiritual yoga series. Where do you see out of stock? On Amazon? Let me know. Hi, Vin. Where did you see that it's out of stock? Where? Where did you see? Is it on our online store or Amazon? Let me know so I can tell my colleague to check. Online store. Okay, I will check that. Let me tell my colleague, and so she will know. Out of stock online store. So do you mean shop.xuemo.com? I'm checking it right away. Hi, Terry，你现在有没有空看一下？我们店铺的后台看一下《世界是新的倒影》英文版这本书。我现在正在直播，有一个读者说显示没有库存了，能不能看一下？ Okay, I'm checking. Wait a second. So at the same time, let's continue introducing another book, Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart, okay? The yellow one, Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. And this book offers a unique benefit that no other book can replace for those who are constantly trapped in suffering. So at a time when our entire society is caught in restlessness and anxiety, it is undoubtedly a remedy of wisdom. There is a saying in Buddhism, everything is created by the mind, 一切为心造. And this is the source and core of the wisdom in this book. Yet understanding something in theory does not necessarily mean mastering it in practice, right? And thus this book came into being. This book presents transcendent wisdom in the most vivid and practical way within the worldly context. It offers both a perspective of wisdom and many methods closely integrated with real life. It can transform our mind, our actions, and ultimately our destiny. And many people suffer misfortune because ignorance clouds mind, leading to misguided actions and ultimately a difficult fate. As Xuemo wrote in another work. Thank you, Jane.
人才 genius.
The novel Dance Hunters. When the mind is clear, okay, my colleague bring me the water. She's so kind. So when the mind is clear, the path opens. And it is precisely through the elevation of the mind and the emergence of wisdom that many who were once trapped in hardship achieve transcendence and become what we call successful individuals. You can find such inspiration in many well-known figures. For example, Steve Jobs. So everyone knows Steve Jobs, right? What do you think his success benefited from? Leave your message here. So you are not just only listening. So what does Steve Jobs' success benefit from? Leave your message in the chat section. I know you are there. And it is related to our topic and theme here. So actually Steve Jobs' success benefited greatly from Zen. And Zen responds to the realization of the great seal within Mahamudra system. And under the illumination of Zen, even the shadow of death could not obscure Jobs' creative wisdom. And because of that, we are able to enjoy the creations of Apple in the present moment. Yeah. So therefore, Xuemo often says, 命由心造, destiny is created by the mind. Your destiny is a reflection of your mind. And the world you see is also a reflection of your mind. The kind of mind you have determines the kind of a destiny you have, and likewise the kind of a world you experience. When your mind expands, your world expands with it. Without transformation of the mind, there can never be a transformation of destiny. Therefore, this book can also be called a method for sharing one's destiny. And there are many people whose destinies have changed because of the wisdom in Xuemo's books. Among them are those with terminal illness, those suffering from severe depression, those devastated by the loss of loved ones, and those who have grown despairing of life itself. And after encountering Xuemo's works, many of them transformed their minds and thereby elevated their destinies. As a result, some readers hope that he would present this wisdom, capable of transforming both mind and destiny in a more accessible and non-religious way. They wished for a book like this, one that allows even those without religious beliefs to move beyond suffering and find happiness. The wisdom of this book originates from the traditional Mahamudra, and Xuemo is the lineage holder of Shambhakagu Mahamudra. He has also authored literary works such as the Luminous Mahamudra, and the content of Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart is simplified and accessible expression of this ancient wisdom. It goes beyond concepts and labels, pointing directly to the human heart with a penetrating power. Hello, if you're new here, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for your support. And attachment is the source of suffering. Without attachment, there is no suffering. And yet often, what we cling to is merely a concept or an illusion. So what's your opinion about this? Leave your message in the chat section. Sorry, I don't know what you just said, this first message. Sorry about that. So everything before our eyes will ultimately disappear, and countless material things, wealth, people, and entanglements will be washed away by the river of time, leaving no trace. Okay, we also don't know. Interesting. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for your support. So they will vanish. All the material things will vanish like bursting bubbles into the eternal light. And our past, our present, and our future will all become memories. And our memories are themselves being devoured by something called forgetting. And what we barely manage to retain are fragments of memory, like faint dreams. And our memories, along with how we integrate them in the present, determine our present and future. What we can truly grasp is only our own mind. And our mind determines the present moment. What we can truly hold on to is only the present. Because of the ever-changing nature of time and all things, everything we have is subject to birth, aging, illness, and death. Therefore, the essence of the world is suffering, which reflects the Buddhist teaching that all conditional existence is suffering. So we are talking about the book, introducing the book, Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. So, do you get the idea of what is the book about after so many introductions here? Let me know your thoughts. Hello, hello, welcome. Are you new here? Please subscribe to our channel if you're new here. Our channel is mainly about the spiritual wisdom and the human warmth found in works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo. Here we explore literature, spirituality, and the human warmth. So follow up, we can grow, we can make progress together on the way to inner world. So I am still introduce the book Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. Hi, Sajin. Hello. Sajin's message: social media take over of library. Actually, we still donated. We are still donating many books to the libraries every year, including the library in the famous universities internationally. So life is suffering based on Buddhism. So life is suffering, and we need a kind of spirit that allows us to experience joy. And this is the worldly meaning of Buddhist teachings. And when we realize this, yes, drop your message anytime you have some opinion or something you want to talk about, or what book are you interested of Xuemo. So when we realize this, we can free ourselves from suffering, enter into a state of pure joy, and attain a deeper, transcendent kind of freedom. So the joy of worldly path is conditional, while the joy beyond the world is unconditional. The later joy is, in essence, the release of attachment and transcendence that comes from realizing the truth. And that truth is the very content of this book, and it is also vividly expressed in Xuemo's work, The Vajra Heart of No Death, which interested readers may explore. And when we truly understand this book and can apply its essence, we can genuinely transcend suffering and find joy. So, if you truly want to master your mind and master your destiny, this book is a must read. It transcends the traditional wisdom into everyday language, and it is practical. Yes, you can practice step by step accordingly. So, Xuemo is not a typical writer you come across in mainstream Western literature, and that is exactly exactly why his work feels different from the first page. Hello, welcome. Good blessing from China. If you're here, tell me where you're from. It's always happy to see different people from all over the world. Very glad to see you here. Thank you for your time. And our page is not about entertainment, but about inner growth, spirituality, and self-calmness, inner calm. And Xuemo's writing comes from decades of living, observing, and thinking in a very specific environment, especially the deserts of northwest China, which shape both of the stories and the perspective behind them. But what makes his work relevant to a global audience is not the location, but the questions he explores, such as how people deal with suffering, desire, and identity and meaning. And when you read Xuemo, you are not just following a plot, you are constantly being asked to look at how your own mind works. And that is why some of his books feel like novels on the surface, but function more like a mirror when you actually sit with them. So just now I introduced the book Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart, and the world is a reflection of the mind. And then we will move across different titles from Xuemo, including works like Desert Rights, Desert Hunters, White Tech Path, and Wild Fox Ridge, along with some books like Love Letters from the Goddess. And each of these books represents a different entry point. Some are story-driven, some are idea-driven, but all of them are connected by a consistent underlying view of the mind and reality. So if you stay here long enough, you will start to notice that the goal is not to agree with everything, but to see more clearly how things actually work. So this is not a fast content session, and it is not designed to entertain you in a superficial way. It is designed for people who are willing to slow down, listen carefully, and think for themselves. And if that is what you are looking for, then you are in the right place. So, Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. It is available on Amazon. You can search for Xuemo, Xuemo, Xuemo for the book, and find this little yellow book. So next I'd like to share the Desert Trilogy, which serves as a foundational entry in Xuemo's literary world. So Desert Trilogy. Anyone heard about Desert Trilogy by Xuemo? Hi, Session, the world is changing. Yes, always changing, and changing is the only never changing thing. Is the changing, right? Okay. Anyone heard about Desert Trilogy? Which three books? Which three books? The Desert Trilogy. Anyone knows? Let me show you. So, Desert Rights, Desert Hunters, and White Tech Path. These three works are called the Desert Trilogy. So the Desert Trilogy is not just a collection of stories, but a structured portrayal of human life shaped by environment, survival, and inner struggle. Set in the harsh landscape of northwest China, these works reflect how individuals respond to pressure, limitation, and uncertainty over time. What makes these books distinct is not only the setting, but the way they examine human behavior without simplifying it. So as we go through this trilogy, the focus is not just on what happens in the story, but on how each character reveals a deeper layer of human nature. Yeah, always like this. People like entertainment. So that's why our channel means a lot. I think it means a lot because we are not for entertainment. Yeah, we are here want to share the good literary works to the world and hope the works can illuminate more people's inner light. So follow us. And this is why the Desert Trilogy can be read both as literature and as a way to observe how life actually unfolds under real conditions. So let's start this trilogy and take a closer look at what it represents. So during the Desert Trilogy, the first work is Desert Rights. And Desert Rights is a major novel by Xuemo and one of the most representative works in his Desert Trilogy. And it serves as a strong entry point into both his literary style and thematic focus. Set against the vast landscape of the Hershey Crater in northwestern China, the novel presents a grounded and detailed portrayal of rural life in the desert region. At the center of the story is Lao Shun and his family. Anyone can pronounce this? Lao Shun, a Chinese name, Lao Shun. So he is the main character, one of the main characters in the book Desert Rights. Very interesting, right? Lao Shun. So Lao Shun and his family their lives are shaped by poverty, hardship, and the continuous pressure of survival. Through the experience of ordinary farming family, the narrative opens up a broader view of rural Chinese life during the 1990s. You know it. What do you mean by I know it? So the narrative opens up a broader view of rural Chinese life. And this is a world defined by limited resources, emotional restraint, uncertain hope, and the daily effort required simply to keep going. However, the novel is not limited to being social depiction. It also works as a deeper exploration of human dignity under extreme conditions. Within the harsh environment of the desert, the characters are constantly pushed to their limits, yet they continue to respond rather than collapse. That emerges from this is not a romanticized narrative, but a clear observation of how people endure, adapt, and continue under pressure. Even when the external conditions offer very little support, the underlying drive toward a better life remains present in subtle but persistent ways. So as we move through this book, the focus is not only on the event themselves, but on how each situation reveals something essential about human behavior and resilience. So Desert Rise is far more than a social novel. It is also a sustained literary examination of human dignity, suffering, and the ways people respond under pressure. Within a harsh environment of the desert, Western farmers continue to face limitation and uncertainty, yet they do not simply give up. Instead, they keep adjusting and enduring over time. So what stands out is not dramatic heroism, but a more grounded persistence, a quiet determination to keep going even when conditions remain difficult. The desert landscape itself is vast and imposing, and it creates a constant sense of pressure that shapes both the environment and the people within it. At the same time, the human world in the novel is equally complex, with family tensions, survival challenges, emotional conflicts, inherited belief, and long-standing rural customs all interacting together. These elements are not presented in isolation, but as part of continuous structure that reflects how life is actually experienced in that setting. So in Xuemo's writing, the desert is not simply a background setting. It functions as an active presence that interacts with human life at every level. It is vast, demanding, and at times overwhelming, and it is also inseparable from the lives and identities of the people who live within it. So this long-term perspective is also reflected in the writing process itself. Hello, welcome, our old friend here, welcome. So how's it been these days? How's it going? Share with me. You know, the work took over a decade to complete, and with multiple revisions between 1988 and 2000. You know, and that extended period of development contributes to the depth and consistency of the narrative, allowing it to capture both detail and structure in a sustained way. Hi, thank you for your question. Yes, we have been doing the live stream since last October. Since October in 2025 till now. How many months? Okay, by the end of October. So November, December, January, February, March, and April. So 6 months. We've been doing the live stream for 6 months. Yes, every day, 6 months, and every day we are doing 2 live sessions every day, 2 live sessions for each host, and each live session continues 1.5 hours. So every day we are doing 3 hours live session. And Wendy is very maybe lead by the aspiration. This is not because this is not a job or something that you want to gain something through this working. It is not working for us. It is a sharing more Xuemo's works to the world, and hope the works can illuminate more people's inner light. And this is like our life mission, and there is only one goal to share more of Xuemo's works to the world. So it is not a job, it is a lifelong, even not just in one life. And it is, life aspiration. Hi, Patrick from Australia. Hello, welcome. Are you our new friend here? You can subscribe to our channel if you're new. Thank you for your support. So, speaking about Australia, so the kangaroo is everywhere, like in Australia. Hello, sir. Hello. Thanks for your message here. Mr. Xuemo's work actually illuminated our inner light. And many, old readers, like they are already 50 years old or 60 years old. Hello, hi, hello, good blessing. Guess where I'm from China, and I'm introducing the works by the Chinese writer, Mr. Xuemo. And now I'm in Western China. Okay, so there are a huge number of the old readers. They're like 50 years old, 60 years old. They said they never imagined that at that age they can still find their life goal, and their inner light becomes shining again at that age. So that's the power of Xuemo's works. And don't forget that we are sharing the novel. That's right. So we're not only looking at a single story, but at a work shaped by a long and deliberate creative process. And this extended development allowed the novel to become what many readers consider one of the most authentic and emotionally grounded literary portrayals of Western China. There is one of the main character in this book, that's right, Lao Shun. Can you pronounce that? Follow me. Lao Shun. Lao Shun. Yes. So for Lao Shun's family, survival is not a single event, but a continuous process marked by separation, sacrifice, and repeated confrontation with reality. So many people are falling down because of the repeated confrontation with reality. So there are Xuemo reading club all around China. Also in my city there is a Xuemo reading club, and they are organizing a reading club during the weekend, and I attended. Then that is the first time I read Mr. Xuemo. Hi, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you are new here. Thank you for your support. So the world of the novel feels at once strictly realistic and at the same time shaped by forces that make it seem larger than individual experience. The novel is actually adapted into television drama and bringing its narrative to a wider audience and extending its cultural reach. So, however, the core strength of That's the Right lies not in its adaptation, but in the depth of its original literary fiction. So village face gradually transformation. Resources become limited and survival increasingly depends on negotiation, conflict, and adaptation. So we Chinese actually learn Chinese at a young age. Like in the new for the new generations, they learn English from the third grade in primary school. And for me, in my generation, was start learning English at school at the age of 11. Oh no, 13, at the age of 13. And for the new generation, they learn English from the age of 11. 10, oh, at the age of 10, yes. Actually, it is hard for me to speak English slow. Maybe it's easier for me to speak free. Yes, everyone in China should attend the Gaokao Chinese exam. Yes. So, hi, Brandano, hello, welcome. Please subscribe to our channel. Hello to the new friends here. Our channel is mainly about the spiritual wisdom and human warmth found in works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo. So, Xuemo brings forward one of the most fundamental questions: how human beings live within limits and respond to environments they cannot fully control. So this tension between survival and environment is not resolved, but continuously experienced. And it shapes the decisions, behaviors, and outcomes of characters. From this process emerges a sustained reflection on endurance, limitation, and the structures within which human life unfolds. So reading That's Rights is not only about entering a specific religion, but about observing how life continues under pressure and how people maintain a sense of stability within uncertainty. So, as we move forward with That's the trilogy, The next work we come to is White Tiger Path. Which brings a different layer of depth to the overall framework. Maybe because there are so many works by Mr. Xuemo. Oh, so interesting. So she's the one who start fighting, right? Very interesting. I think there must be some teaching in his series of what's in Lao's mind. Xuemo interprets Dao De Jing. I think because that series of books includes every aspect of life, like family, society, and government, company. So I think there is teaching there, but I haven't finished reading yet because there are so many works by Mr. Xuemo, like 80 titles, and many of them are in the series. Hi, long time no see. Hello. Does skeptic doesn't do live anime? What do you mean by skeptic? Explain. Would you please explain? So White Tiger Path is widely regarded as one of the Xuemo's most representative works, where realism and symbolic structure are combined to explore human experience in a more layered way. Interesting. Hello, in the icon. Hello, welcome. Please subscribe to our channel. So about your family issue, actually, I don't have a certain method or way how to act. Maybe she needs more care and more hug. Thank you. So we are talking about the book White Tiger Path by Xuemo. Xuemo once noted that what he aimed to preserve was not only life itself, but the inner dimension within life, which becomes the centered idea in this novel. And on the surface, the novel represents itself as a story of ordinary rural life in Western China. But beneath that surface, it operates as a symbolic narrative about human development. And in this structure, everyday events are not isolated occurrences, but part of a larger process in which individuals confront challenges, desires, and internal limits. And each moment in the narrative functions as a kind of passage where difficulty is not only an obstacle but also a condition for change. So the title itself, White Tiger Path, can be understood as a metaphor for the ongoing transitions that define human life from beginning to end. Life can be seen as a continuous process of moving through stages, where each stage requires a response and leaves a lasting effect. In that sense, individuals are not static, but are constantly shaped by what they encounter and how they respond to it. This idea is reflected through multiple characters in the novel, each facing different situations and internal conditions. Characters such as, in the book, there are characters such as Ying Er, Lan Lan, and Menzi, represent different responses to similar pressure, showing how outcomes vary based on perspective and choice. And their stories are not presented as simple arcs, but as interconnected paths that reveal complexity, contradiction, and gradual change. So through this approach, Xuemo extends to exploration of human struggle beyond external conditions and into the structure of inner experience itself. So as we continue with white tag paths, the focus shifts from observing the conditions to examining how individuals move through them and are shaped in the process. So, and the story in white tag paths, by the way, white tag paths is available on Amazon. So, and the stories in white tag paths bring forward a range of human experiences, including longing, conflict, disappointment, helplessness, and ongoing tension between external reality and internal expectation. These elements are not presented as isolated emotions, but as interconnected responses that develop over time within specific life conditions. The novel does not attempt to simplify these experiences or resolve them into clear conclusions. Instead, it allows readers to remain within these contradictions and observe how they would. Rather than offering direct guidance, the narrative creates space for reflection, where meaning emerges from engagement rather than instruction. In this sense, the work does not aim to explain life, but to present it in a way that reveals its structure more clearly. Another important dimension of the novel is its exploration of a broader psychological pattern that extends beyond the specific setting. And it suggests that the experience of poverty is not limited to material conditions, but is also connected to perception, comparison, and internal evaluation. And when individuals compare themselves to others, differences in resources or outcomes can create a sense of insufficiency. Hi, I see some new friends here. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for your support. And it suggests that the experience of poverty is not limited to material conditions, but it is also connected to perception, comparison, and internal evaluation. When individuals compare themselves to others, differences in resources or outcomes can create a sense of insufficiency. And this perception can intensify when expectations are not met or when desired outcomes remain out of reach. And the difference between what is hoped for and what is experienced becomes a source of internal tension. Over time, this tension can develop into a deeper form of dissatisfaction that is not immediately visible from the outside. Through this lens, the novel highlights how inner states are shaped not only by external circumstances, but also by interpretation and response. And this perspective extends the narrative beyond the specific cultural or geographical context and connects it to a broader pattern of human experience. Hi, if you're new here, please subscribe to our channel. Hi. Only one, our local language. Yeah, I kept describing the book. Exactly. How you doing? Yeah, good. I feel blessing. You should read this book yourself. Yes. You can either read Desert Rides or Desert Hunters. So go to Amazon for this book. Go to Amazon for the book Desert Hunters or Desert Rides, and you can search for Xuemo, Xuemo, Xuemo. So, and Xuemo suggests that when a person firmly identifies with a sense of poverty, that perception can become a lived reality regardless of actual material conditions. From this perspective, the heaviest burden people carry is often not external hardship, but the internal process of comparison, perceived lack, and the gap between desire and reality. And this internal structure shapes how individuals interpret their lives. And it can persist even when external circumstances change. And at the same time, the novel points toward another possibility, which emerges not through resolution, but through observation and reflection. And reading White Type Path becomes a process in which insight develops gradually as the reader engages with complexity rather than avoid it. This process does not impose conclusions, but allows a different kind of clarity to take shape over time. Through such engagement, ordinary experience can re-examine, not by changing events, but by changing the way they are seen. So in this sense, the novel extends beyond its settings and becomes a broader reflection on how individuals relate to their own lives. And that is why White Type Path is not only a rural narrative, but also structured exploration of inner experience presented through story. So the next work we can come to is Desert Hunters. Desert Hunters by Xuemo, which shifts the perspective once again while remaining connected to the same broader framework. And compared to the previous works, Desert Hunters places a stronger focus on movement, survival dynamics, and the relationship between human beings and a more immediate natural environment. Here, the narrative is shaped not only by internal tension, but also by external forces that require constant response and adjustment. Okay, Xuemo was married, and he has a son. Everyone every reader knows. So the setting becomes more open and fluid, and this creates a different kind of pressure. One that is less structured, but more immediate and unpredictable. In this context, survival is not only about endurance, but also about awareness, timing, and decision making under uncertainty. And as we move into Desert Hunters, the focus gradually expands from inner experience to the interaction between individuals and the wider force around them. So, give some tips for reading. So, how many books are you reading do you read every month? Like, so how many books do you read every month? Just the beginner of reading. So you're so lucky you come to our channel as a new beginner, as a beginner of reading. So you can start with Xuemo's works. Like if you like novels, these are like long novels. But if you want to start from short stories, you can start with this book, Into the Desert by Xuemo. And this is the story for two women in Western China, and on the edge of the Gobi Desert, near the site of the ancient Silk Road, and bound together by poverty and tradition. They embark upon a perilous journey to change their lives. Then, little by little, you will have the reading habit, just little by little. And maybe also you can try, like the world is a reflection of the mind. It is about spirituality, and I think it is very important for people when they start reading, they have the right view of life. So it's really important. It is not about gaining knowledge, but about nourishing your soul. So these are essays, so it is easy for reading as a beginner. Only 2 or 3 pages for each chapter. So maybe in the afternoon after drinking coffee, you can read one chapter from the book. So the world is a reflection of the mind. This one, or you can try this one, Reclaim the Throne of Your Heart. It's about inner strength. And it is also in the form of essays. So you can read one chapter each time. Yes, it's available in India. You can whether buy the books on Amazon. And you can search for Xuemo. If the title you cannot remember the title, you can search for Xuemo, Xuemo, Xuemo on Amazon, and or you can go to our online store shop.xuemo.com. The books can be shipped to over 80 countries all over the world. So yeah, sure, check that and let me know after ordering. Share with me I will be so glad to hear that. Yes, if you can purchase that trilogy and Eternal Love together, or you can start with one book. Yes, I'm sure you will be interested in Xuemo's other books after reading one of them. Okay, these are for today's live session. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your companion. Okay, bye for now. Bye. Remember, this is Xuemo community, and welcome back. See you.